Having played 14 match days in the Premier League, it will be interesting to see, of course, who we think is the closest challenger to Arsenal in the title race of the Premier League. We'll look at this as well as some interesting matches to look forward to as the weekend draws near. Here is, of course, the latest edition of the Nutmeg here on Guardian TV. My name is Ayomide Daniels. And of course, it's the latest edition of the Nutmeg here on Guardian TV. And today we're looking at the title race, which is building up already towards the festive season. I'm joined by Kay here in the studio. Kay, it's great to have you. I know
always a pleasure.
It's Arsenal's happy days, maybe not glory days, because you still don't have anything to show for the multiple wins in the last 3 seasons or thereabout. But, you know, you're looking at how they've started the season. Full credit to them. Great business in the summer, and they've started really strong. Yeah,
well, you know, Arteta has been there for quite a couple of seasons now, and I think we have the momentum. We have the squad depth to a reasonable extent now. But I feel like it's still quite early, like, you know, because the Premier League, you know, anything can happen. Before we entered, October, it was Liverpool, you know, offline, and, you know, in the space of a month, they're already 13th on the log. So that's what the Premier League is all about. If you're not so careful, you might think you are offline as it stands. So I wouldn't be so carried away by the recent, results coming our way. Of course, it's a good one as an Arsenal fan, but this is not the pinnacle of it all. We still have quite a lot. Like you mentioned here, it might look like you're trying to, you know, maybe throw a shade the other time where you said nothing to show for.
But let's talk,
you
talk about recent fixtures now. You know, one of the recent games we saw about Arsenal was Chelsea, 1-1. Yeah. But somewhat, Arsenal didn't pull their weight against Chelsea despite the numerical advantage. Is that a level of concern that when push comes to shove, it'll be difficult for them to show the mentality required? Do you think or feel that we are with seasons gone by as well?
Well, I wouldn't want to say that because, of course, Chelsea, they are top side, and of course they also have, you know, the momentum as well. You know, they've not lost in 11 matches before the game against Arsenal, and for that particular game, fine, I must say that it's one of the, let me say, the worst we've played this season. You know, in terms of performance and all that, but you always have a bad day in the office. I think the Chelsea game is just one of those ones that you have to, you know, and I'm so sure that were it been to be in previous season, would have lost that game even in some cases.
True.
But of course, we could see that they still put on the shift despite the fact that it was a very poor game for Arsenal. So I wouldn't want to say that.
I'm not sure how much you rate Chelsea as a title challenger. Some will still. Organ said the last time that they are neither here nor there. They are inconsistent.
I think he nailed it. I think he nailed it. I think he nailed it.
But what do you say about Man City? At the weekend, during the midweek, by the way, they played 5-4 against Fulham away from home.
Massive.
That was a basketball game, 9 goals, and you don't get to see that often. But at some point in that game, they led 5-1. It was a near capitulation.
Just like you mentioned that, you know, are we also saying the Arsenal game and Chelsea, like, maybe, is it because Arsenal, you know, maybe shaky and all that? It happens. Look at Manchester City. You were leading 5-1 at some point, and, you know, Fulham almost, you know, end the point, and I think they really deserve that point in that game.
By the way, Samuel,
look at and it will be fantastic goals.
Yeah.
All the goals in that game were top notch, and I was like, wow, this is a football game. But it's one of those things that happen in the Premier League. You are not just so sure, like I said earlier. You are not so. You shouldn't be too confident that, oh, look, I'm offline and all that. Anyone can humble you in that league.
So we're going to do quick fire predictions just before we end this episode of the Nutmeg. Aston Villa will play Arsenal. Arsenal are traveling to, of course, Aston Villa's home. Man City at home against Sunderland. Sunderland are one of the stronger teams starting the season. And Bournemouth, they are experiencing a bit of a downside lately, but Chelsea are traveling to play them as well. So, quick predictions. Arsenal away at Aston Villa, Man City at home to Sunderland, and Bournemouth hosting Chelsea.
Tricky ties. All these three are tricky features, but of course, Arsenal, Aston Villa last season, it was not what we expected. But I still feel this.
Yeah, it looks like that bodgy fixture
is always there. Yeah, you know. And but I hope this time around we can just get over the line and nick the maximum 3 points. We do need that, I must say, because when Manchester City now breathing on our neck, we must win that.
Can Man City hold off Sunderland? Because Man City, we don't have a problem with the attack. You look at what Erling Haaland is doing.
They always go.
already during the midweek, 100 goals, and the fastest player to do that in the Premier League.
That's massive.
100 goals in the Premier League is
it's massive.
The fastest.
It's massive.
I don't have a problem with how City will do up front. I think the bigger problem is how they contend with Sunderland in defense.
I think they should be worried. You know, the game against Arsenal, Sunderland, Liverpool, you know, these are games you need to see and look at this Sunderland side. You are so like, these guys are from the Championship. You're just like, wow. You know, they can hurt you anytime.
And they're in the top 5.
It's really commendable. So I think Manchester City should be very, very, very wary of that team. They can hurt you, and of course, they might as well not let him go. That's one of the things. You might score them, but I'm also saying that they are also capable of also shutting your attack.
Now, Bournemouth suffered another 1-0 loss in midweek against Everton. Now, they want to try to get back to winning ways. It's been a spell of bad results in the last couple of games. But Chelsea are one of the stronger sides as well. Do you think...
also another tricky tie.
Do you think Chelsea can do this away from home?
Another tricky tie.
I do feel they can.
They should. But then again, I'm not so sure. Like I said, you know, it's a tricky tie. If I'm going to go for this, I think I'm saying a draw in the game against Chelsea. And then for Manchester City, Sunderland, Manchester City should be able to nick it.
That's the expectation.
Yeah, no matter how difficult it is.
You tell me Arsenal
and then Arsenal to win.
I know.
Not so well like in terms of the margin, but maybe a 2-1 win for Arsenal.
Right. Well, let's know what your take is in the comment section. These 3 games, Aston Villa at home to Arsenal, Manchester City entertaining Sunderland, and Bournemouth hosting Chelsea right in the Premier League fixtures. Of course, you can be part of all we do here by hitting the subscribe button on YouTube and tapping the notification bells. Also, to get all our latest content here on Guardian Nigeria. You could also follow us on social media at Guardian Nigeria across all platforms. That's the much we'll take on today's episode of the Nutmeg, and thank you very much, Kate, for being a part of it.
My pleasure.
And thank you very much for watching. My name is Ayomide Daniels. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.